Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Daisy Diaries. You can tune in every single Thursday. Today, I am with the one and only Gabriel Zamora.
Hi everyone.
I love when you say that. It just like sets
Hi,
the
everyone.
tone.
Hi everything. That one's my favorite.
I am so honored to be here with the Gabby Gabs.
Oh my God, stop it.
Gabby.
I'm honored to be on Daisy's Diaries.
Oh my God. I wish we would have had a microphone when we went to the beach because we just talked about
I know.
everything.
We talked about so much. I think it's also because we were like, hi everyone.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's So we went to the beach recently, which was what, like the day before yesterday? Yeah.
Yeah, like 2 days ago.
Yeah, the day. It feels like it was just yesterday.
Yeah.
We went to the beach the day before yesterday.
So
I hit up Gabby. I know I'm not as tan.
Well,
But
you'll never be as tan as me.
okay, that's fine. But I was like, do you want to go to the beach? First of all, we said let's tan. We were going to go to the pool.
Yeah.
And then.
Because Daisy's never here.
Yeah, I'm never
She lives
here.
in Dallas. She's a Dallas doll.
Oh my God.
I keep telling her that. I'm like, call yourself the Dallas doll.
The Dallas doll.
And she's here. She's like, let's go to the beach. Let's lay out. Well, first, let's lay out.
Yeah.
You're like, I got an Airbnb. We're going to lay out. We're going to be sexy. And I was like, yes, let's take sexy content pictures.
Yeah.
And then she's like, wait, I also have a car. Should we go to the beach? And I was like, yeah, I live in LA and I never go to the beach. Like,
I don't know why you never go to the beach.
I don't know. I just never go. So then we go and, I'm passenger princess.
Literally passenger princess.
I go over. She drives me there. She's like grabbing my thigh. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm such a doll.
I'm like, I had water already on the side of
She
your
really
door.
did. She was like ready. I was like,
I was
okay.
ready.
I was like, this is how I should be treated.
And then we went to the wrong spot.
Oh yeah. Okay. So don't make our mistake, you guys. Go to Paradise Cove because that beach was nice. We went to Paradise Cove. We went to Paradise Cove Cafe.
Yeah. We went
which was the wrong place to go.
It was the wrong place to go, but I've never seen a beach here in California with umbrellas and super aesthetically pleasing. Yeah. They had margaritas and I was like, oh my God, Gabs.
I would be down to go.
I would be down to go, but we went on Father's Day.
Yeah.
Because whatever. We both don't.
Yeah.
We have dad.
Well, my dad lives in Texas and she has daddy issues. So
it worked out perfectly fine.
Yeah, we weren't hanging with our dads that day.
Yeah. So we went there, but it was a mission because it was packed on Father's Day and we had to park outside.
Yeah.
And then we had to walk. We had to walk down this ramp. We realized we're at the wrong beach.
They said it was a 5-minute walk. That was like a 15-minute walk.
Literally a 15-minute walk going down and coming back up. So then at that point, Gabby and I were like, should we just hi everyone? Because we have a whole mission ahead of us. So I am not the best with edibles, but you know what I did? What? Because you were walking in front of me and you didn't see.
Did you throw it away?
I only threw half of it away.
Oh, period. Okay.
Yeah, no, because I was like, it's because I don't want to get too high, everyone, and then I can't function. And I only took half and then I threw the other half away, and I was like, oh my God, Gabby, it tastes so good.
You little rat.
And then I just can't keep up with you. I can't.
I love hi everyone.
Yeah,
I love it. I do it almost daily, whether it be gardening, like flowers, or whether it be the eating of candy.
Yeah, I mean, it helps a lot with my stress and anxiety. So I do love it in that sense. But I was like, okay, one of us has to be the responsible one. Yeah. I feel like we're both responsible, though. Yeah. Yeah, we are. So we ended up going to Point Doom. That beach was super nice, super pretty.
Oh, it's called Point Doom.
Point Doom. So it's Paradise Cove and Point Doom. They're right next to each other. Okay. And we ended up going to Point Doom, and we stayed there talking for hours. Mm-hmm. And we didn't listen. Oh, my God, the lifeguards. It was
an experience. That whole day was an experience. Because, like...
so much happened.
Even, like, we get there, then we have to walk back. Daisy's like, should we even go? And I was like, yeah, let's go. Like, clearly we're not going to get a spot at this restaurant. So we leave and we have to walk all the way back. As we're walking back, they're letting cars in because now there's spots in the parking lot.
Yeah.
So we're like looking like little homeless Mexican children, just carrying like this big old bag and our stuff. And then I have a bit of not a sunburn, but like a tan from the tank.
From the back?
Yes, from the tank.
What?
Like you can kind of see like
oh my God, I can see it.
I was like, oh.
It's kind of it's because we walked a lot.
It was like 15 minutes there. Then we were there for like 5 minutes. And then we walked 15 minutes back. It was like a 40 minute excursion. And then we walked back to the car. And then we're parked on the highway.
And then we started to drive.
It's not even a highway. It's like a really
It was PCH,
which is like a highway. And we're walking on the side where cars are parked, and there's no sidewalk because, you know, Malibu people are like, we don't walk, we drive. And if you're walking, you're poor and you shouldn't be in our neighborhood. That gives very Malibu vibes. Okay. So there's no sidewalk, even when we saw the bus stop.
It was
Remember,
so
it was just
random.
Like, it was a random metro
patch.
bus stop and like a little bench and a trash can and a makeshift like sidewalk of like 10 feet wide. And I was like, where's the rest of the sidewalk? So we're almost getting run over. We finally leave. Then we go to the beach. We get there. The way we get there, there's like one street and then there's backed up cars. There's too many cars. Everybody's like trying to go there. And then we see people like passing us up. And then Daisy's like, should I take it? Should I take it? And I was like, do it. So she takes it. And then we
somehow crisscross applesauce. We get in there. We finally get to the beach.
We get to the beach, we grab our stuff, we're walking there. And then we're like, oh my God, look at this giant open spot. It must be for us because we're verified. Yeah. Hi, we're verified. Here's our Instagram. So then we put our stuff down. Then the lifeguard comes. I mean, he was kind of hot, but like he's white and that's not really my tea. And then we're putting our stuff down. He's like, oh, like you can't be within like the cones. And we're like, okay. So we just like move a little forward. But like, have you ever been to the beach where like the water hits and there's like almost like a wall of sand? Maybe
like where it goes like this.
Yeah, like maybe as tall as this, from like the floor to the top of this. Because you can still like walk it up and be fine. But the water's hitting there. It almost feels like a guard rail. Yeah. And then what's his name again? Lifeguard.
What's his name again?
I want to call him a surf guard. He was like, oh, just by the way, like the tide's coming up and y'all are going to get wet. And we're like, okay, we're always wet. So then,
we really did not take him serious.
We didn't take him seriously.
And we were high everyone. Like, I just remember I was like, Gabby, I was like, I think it hit me. And he's like, really? And he takes out more. And I was like, okay. We're literally so relaxed. We were like having a conversation. Gabby puts this thick oil. I'm like tanning, sunbathing. And the lifeguard comes and he's like, you guys, the tide's about to come. It's a high tide. And we were like, yeah, sure. And then, but at some point I was like, should we move? And then you were like, I think we should. And I was like, no. I was like, it's doing too much. Literally not even 5 minutes. No. And it was like in slow motion.
The water splashes, the thing goes up and then it splashes on us.
It fully splashed on us. And I was just so high, everyone, that I was like, oh my God, Gabby, I think we were in the splash zone. I think that's why the cones were there. Dude, I cannot believe I said that. I cannot believe I said that. I was just like,
Daisy fully panicked. She had a really good like instinct.
I just
where she just got fast. Up and then she like fell back. And then me, I just was like sitting there and I was like, oh my God, wet.
All of like my chips, towel was wet.
Everything
got soaking wet.
At least our stuff didn't get wet.
Yeah, like our
like we were wearing like bathing suits, so luckily we were fine.
Yeah, and then we just ended up moving and we stayed at the beach for a while. We went to go get in and out. We had such a wholesome, just
Sunday fun
day, and I love that we hadn't seen each other in such a long time.
Yeah, like one-on-one, it's been a minute.
Like over a year for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, over a year. That's crazy. Maybe a little bit more than a year. Maybe a year and a half.
Yeah, because I saw you at Jenny's party.
Oh yeah, but it was so
like
brief.
Quick.
It was like
everything's been
minutes.
So like events. Yeah. It hasn't been like just us two. Like we just saw that photo of us going to dinner.
Yeah, I think that's the last time we hung out then.
Yeah, because that was 2020, girl. Was it?
Well, I mean, I moved to Texas and then I would come here.
Like, January 7th, 2020. I think this was either before or after our Miami trip.
That was after. Because I feel like we got close after the Miami trip because if I'm being honest, I remember the first time I ever saw you. Mm-hmm. It was at a beauty event at Nightingale and you had your blue hair.
Oh, so pretty.
And I was so scared of you.
We got super cool at, I think, Alondra's birthday.
Alondra's birthday? What did we do for Alondra's birthday?
We were dancing on each other. Like at that point we had seen each other enough times.
Wait. Was it the glow in the, I think it was Elsie's. Wasn't it the glow in the dark party? Where maybe I busted my face right before my birthday because Elsie and I would always have birthdays because we're on the same week. Where she had the glow in the dark and it was like 2 floors.
Yeah.
And we have that video of us like dancing together.
Yes, okay, then it was Elsie's.
Yeah, we got close. Yeah, that was
around that year.
Yeah, it was around that year because that's whenever like the group was like very close. And then we were all like hanging out and partying together. And then I think we went to, was Montana before Elsie's or after? I think it was after.
I think it was after.
So it was Montana.
Because I knew Elsie and Alondra, but I didn't really know Bram. I didn't know Maria or Candy.
Oh, that's when everybody, then the Miami trip happened after that.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. No, yeah. I don't know at what point we start to get really close. I think it was in Miami because then I started to get close to Bram T even in the Miami trip.
Bram T.
I remember that's whenever TikTok, we love Bram T.
I love Bram T.
I remember that's whenever TikTok was barely like popping off.
Because we have the dance of me, you, and Bram.
Yes. And that will forever be iconic. Is the video still up somewhere?
Yeah. On my page.
You have it?
Yeah.
Oh, it was on your page?
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it.
And I think we did it a few times and I posted like one of the bloopers one after.
Oh, because I didn't know the dance.
Yeah, because you didn't know the dance.
Honestly,
and me and Bram T were like,
I'm not. You're like
TikTok girly.
You were like the renegade. We were just talking about the Miami trip before we started filming. I do not really remember the Miami trip.
That's crazy.
Because
I remember parts of it for sure, but I think it was because it was right before quarantine that it's so jarring.
Oh, you're so right.
It was right before quarantine.
And that's the last time we really got to hang out with like a big group.
Yeah. No, literally.
And that was the last big group trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
That was the last big group trip.
Yeah.
That I remember.
And I remember seeing Louis talking about this on his podcast, saying that like whatever happened to like the Montana squad, and I'm like, nothing really. I just feel like everybody really did, like COVID happened and everybody went their own way.
Yeah, you know, and it was like at the time where like we all were still, our schedules were able to do that.
Yeah,
I think since then everybody's lives have changed. I mean, at the time, the Montana trip is where Alondra and Benny met. Honestly, and now they're like happy with the family. So I'm like, I understand why like everybody's lives are so different now. But at the time it was like Alondra was just out of something. She was single. We're trying to hype her up.
He was single.
Yes, everybody was single. So it was like fun, except for like the couples, of course, like Bram, Maria, and
they were
Candy.
already established.
They were fully married with their family.
But it was such a fun, memorable trip. I think the funnest memory of Montana would be the club.
The club.
We had a whole club downstairs.
Oh, I was like, and we were snowed in. I was like, what are you talking about?
I'm like, we had a club and we had a bouncer at the club. Yes. I actually recently went back to look at all the videos because I hadn't watched them in such a long time. First of all, I sucked at editing, okay? My video is probably the worst Montana video out of all of them because my editing and the music was just horrible. But I look back at it and I was like, I'm so glad that we got to experience that because it's so rare for that amount of creators to get together and it just be so much fun.
And like have it work so well. Like when we went ice skating, like we just knew like who cooked, who cleaned, who drove, who took, like everybody just like
it was just such
stepped up.
It was such a group effort. Even whenever the car broke down and we were like the guys got outside and they were pushing it. It was such a beautiful, beautiful, memorable trip. And I'm so glad that we all were able to capture content so we can look back at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
It was so fun. The Miami trip, like I said, I don't really remember the Miami trip, but I feel like it had its time.
I remembered it not that long ago again because on Zeus, there's a show called Bobby I Love You Purr, which is Bobby Lights having a dating show and Rolling Ray is like his bestie on the show. And it's like he has like, I think like 10 or 12 men competing for his love. And it was a Miami house.
Oh, really?
It was our Miami house. And I'm like,
iconic Miami house.
And every time I would watch every episode, I'm like, I was there. Like I was there. I was in that kitchen. I was there. I was in that pool. Like, yeah.
Well, I'm very, very glad that we got to experience that together. And now we're here. Now we're here. So something that I really want to talk about and that you made me realize when we were just catching up is that you are so good at setting boundaries.
Oh, yeah.
That I was like, oh, wow, I really need to reinforce those boundaries with a lot of people, especially in my love life, because I feel like I literally was telling Abby, I was like, you're way better than me because I would have folded, I would have done this, I would have done that. And I was just like, how did you get so good at setting boundaries? Because I feel like, was it recently? Was it therapy? I'm like, share your secrets with me.
I think it's a little bit of everything. I grew up my whole life knowing I was gay. So I grew up like knowing it wasn't like the best thing. So I was very in my head. Okay. So I've been very introspective from a very young age of like being able to have conversations with myself. And when I came out in 8th grade, my mom was very loving and like accepting of it and nurturing. So she allowed me to be emotional.
Okay.
She allowed me to like really like find that because I'm a Pisces.
That's beautiful.
And my mom is a Pisces. So it's like I give female energy Pisces. I know some of y'all are like, oh God, a male Pisces. And I'm like, chill.
I'm
chill.
Of
okay. Okay, chill. I feel like I give more of female Pisces energy because I was raised by a very emotionally aware and strong female Pisces, my mom. So I feel like she nurtured that, she allowed that. And I think growing up with an extremely loving mom and loving family, like my aunt, it's a very female-led family that I live in. A lot of the women kind of like take charge and they kind of drive everything. They allow the men to still be men. But the reason why a lot of us moved to Houston was because of the women in our family. So the men moved there. Oh. Yeah. And usually it's the other way around. Yeah, like the women move to where the men are, especially in Mexican culture. So I grew up in a very like strong, independent household. And my mom was extremely loving. Everybody's loving. And my whole life, I knew love. Like love isn't weird to me. Like love isn't like a foreign concept to me. Really? Yeah. Like I have it in abundance. I'm not scared to show it. I don't feel like it makes me weak to love someone, to be in love with someone, to have that vulnerability. So when I came to LA and started to go into my 20s and be more an adult and go into the dating world, because I didn't date in high school, right? Mm-hmm. So I went into that and I started to be like, what the hell? Like, why are these people so damaged? And I have broken bird complex where I try to heal people and I try to save people.
Oh,
and
man.
That works sometimes with friends.
What is broken bird complex?
Broken bird complex is like you see a broken bird and you try to heal it and you try to fix it and you think that like nurturing it and protecting it and loving it and getting it back to a flying state is good because you feel bad, right? It's just like you see a broken bird and you're like, oh my God, it can't fly. You heal it and then it flies and you're like, yay. Like, you know, love is nurturing, love is healing. But that's not always the case with people because people are more complex, nuanced creatures. And trauma isn't just a broken wing. It's something that you have to go to therapy and really not only like assess and like actually like accept that it's a type of trauma, but then you have to like start to like clean it out like an infection. You have to clean it out. You have to like start letting it heal and you're going to have a scar. And like humans are so much more complex than a bird.
Yeah, of course.
So then as I was like navigating through that in my early like 20s, I was like, why are people so weird? Like, why? Like, I know love. How do y'all not know love? Yeah. And especially in the gay community, like sometimes a lot of like gay men don't grow up with such an accepting family, let alone like mother sometimes. So I'm very grateful. I'm very lucky. And with time and like just that self-awareness and having like not only family, but also friends that I can talk to and be like, oh, like this is what's going on and like bouncing stuff off. And I just got to like a point where I was like, I don't have to deal with the bullshit. Like, and that takes a while. Mm-hmm. And it didn't take me like 10, 15 men to figure that out. It took me 2. Like the first one, I was like, this is weird. And then by the second one, I was like, oh, a lot of y'all are like this. Like, I don't have to deal with this. And like, I'm a Pisces, so I'm like a romantic. So I'm always like wanting to find the one or like my soulmate or whatever. And then I started to realize that I'm like, I'm just looking for one person. And in the dating world, like you're dating multiple people to find out who your person is. Mm-hmm. And some people are like, oh, well, like I can like fix him or this person has potential. Fuck all that. Fuck potential. Potential don't get you shit. Okay. Potential is a concept in your own head that you make up about a person. It's not actually like, because a lot of them are like, oh, he has potential. Like I could like cut his hair. I could change his style. I could get him braces. I can get him a new job. I can like da-da-da-da-da. That's a you thing, thinking you could do that for someone. And it took a while and therapy to understand that like how people come is who they are. Ambition is a different thing.
Can you be my therapist?
Ambition is a different thing.
Actually, you're so right.
I like that. You know, when you can sense ambition in someone, I'm like, so what are your goals? And they'll be like, oh, this is what I want to do in the next like year, in the next 3 years, in the next 5 years. This is kind of what I want to do. You can sense that. Yeah. Like, and there's some things that are like very trivial, like body type, you know, hairlines, like teeth being straight, like all those things, like the right job, the right thing, the right car, things that are like, that can change. Yeah. But the person themselves should be a good base of foundation for when you're like wanting to like fall in love and like date. And I think that some people like go too into it with like the rose colored glasses of potential, and then they like shoot themselves in the foot and they're like, wait, why didn't it turn out like it was supposed to turn out in my head? And it's like, because you made it up.
I love the way that you put everything into perspective. I just think I literally was like, how? I feel like you have so much wisdom beyond your years that I'm just kind of like.
I've always felt like I was older for my age since I was young.
I know a lot of Pisces though that carry so much wisdom, and like I have one of my girlfriends, she's younger than me, she's a Pisces, and I was just like, how? But
I'm because I'm very like, I'm an empath.
I'm an empath
but
too.
Like not in like the scary way that some people like to like say like, oh, I understand your feelings. No, it's like, I feel like I'm very empathetic because I'm very aware of my emotions and other people's emotions. And my mother taught me how to like assess and feel for people. She taught me empathy, not in the sense of like, oh, that person's crying, you should cry because they're sad. It wasn't that. It was listen to them, try to understand them, empathize with them, understand that it's not always about you. Like if this person is hurt, empathize with their pain and see how you can help them. And my like to an extent I was like, Mom, because like there's been some people where I'm like, you hurt me, but my mother taught me, don't retaliate. There's no need to hurt somebody who hurts you, because a lot of the time hurt people.
Yeah.
And they're not sometimes doing it on purpose. There's going to be people who do it on purpose, absolutely. But sometimes hurt people. And it's about you saying like, oh, that hurt, but like I can get over that. How can I help you heal?
Yeah.
And I do that a lot.
No, you are an amazing friend. And you're really good. There has been times where I literally have came to you for advice, and I'm like, your opinion is something that I value a lot, because you see a situation from so many different perspectives. And it's so hard
because
for
I've
people to do
checked my
that.
ego. Like ego is such a big thing in a lot of everything, whether it comes to work, friendships, love, family, everything. And a lot of people can't let go of that because they're so focused on their perspective. And that in and of itself is ego. It's like you have to let go and like think of another perspective. Think of like if me and you were in a situation and I did something that hurt you and you're like, hey, Gabby, this hurt me. And I'm like, well, I didn't do it to hurt you. And you're like, I know, but it hurt me. And I'm like, well, I didn't do it to hurt you. So why are we still talking about it? Those are people with ego that can't let those things go. But I have come to a point where it's like, oh, be like, let me listen to you first before I even give you my reason as to why I think that happened. Or I even give you an excuse as to like, hey, like, thank you for letting me know. I really appreciate that. I like to create an environment where I let my friends and my family feel free to tell me things, even if it hurts me or it's not the best for me. Yeah. I create an environment where I allow people to speak freely to me without any like fear of like, oh, Gabriel's gonna get mad.
Yeah, or like walking on eggshells.
Like
or anything.
I never want that. So when somebody comes up to me, it's like, hey, Gabriel, can I have a conversation with you? I'm like, absolutely. It's like, hey, what you did in this situation hurt me. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry about that. I acknowledge it right then and there because it's like, it's not about me.
Yeah.
It's about this person. And then I can listen to the situation. And especially if I respect you and I have love for you, then I listen to it and I'm like, how do we remedy this? And like, I'm very sorry and I'm apologetic for it. And just so you know, I didn't do it to hurt you, but I can acknowledge that it did. And for that, I truly am sorry. And how do we then move forward? And I've had friends that they're so taken aback from that. Because I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes where I've hurt people and I can take ownership of that. And they're sometimes like, oh, well, you hurt me. And I'm like, and I understand that. And I'm sorry. Well, you did hurt me. And sometimes hurt people who've never had somebody who listens to them will repeat it over and over. And I have that patience where I can put my ego aside and apologize 5 times in a row. It's not about, bro, I just apologized 2 minutes ago. It's just like, I'm sorry. People have such a hard thing with their ego because they feel like if they just, I don't know, like they're so held up on like, no, it's my perspective. It's my world.
Do you think that ego goes hand in hand with pride?
Yes and no. Yes and no, because I feel like pride sometimes comes from things that aren't derived from ego. Like I take pride in my family. I take pride in what my family taught me, how my family raised me. I take pride in other things that aren't directly factors of me, because I do take pride in who I am, but I take pride in other things. And in me taking pride as to how I carry myself and how I can empathize, that is connected with ego, because I'm like, oh, I'm proud of who I am, you know? But I'm also aware that I'm not perfect. Yeah. And in this world, everybody's a growing, learning creature. And maybe in like 10 years, I can still fuck up. In 20 years, I can still fuck up. I'm not perfect. So I think they're sisters, but they're not twins. They're very close.
I love the way that you put everything into perspective.
I think it's also my upbringing. I am first generation, firstborn to Mexican immigrant parents who had a limited education. So I've had to understand complex things and be able to relay them in a more, what is it called? Like layman's terms, where you try to like simplify it. I think it's called layman's terms.
You're asking the wrong person.
Where you try to like simplify complex things, right? So with my parents, when I would like translate English things to them in Spanish at a very young age, I would have to like make it make sense for them. And because I'm the oldest of 4, I would have to almost like tutor my siblings as well and like pseudo raise them as a child myself. But as the oldest, I was aware that I'm having to help my siblings and my family and other family members. So I'm very grateful for that trauma of adultification, where it has allowed me to explain my thoughts in my head in a more like simplified version. Because I'm like you said earlier, you're like, oh my God, you have so much like knowledge. And it's like, I am just like a collection of information that I've collected in my life, and I like to share it. I don't think it like hurts me to share healing things with people.
No, not at all. I think everybody needs a friend like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like a friend that holds you accountable. Like
a friend that holds you accountable, a friend that is honest with you and that tells you when you are in the wrong, even though it's going to hurt your feelings. A friend that roots for you, that doesn't see you as competition, that will always want what's best for you. And I am so happy with my life and my friend group and my family. And like, it's taken me such a long time to have this beautiful core group of people. And it's so crazy because, you know, my mom is constantly trying to set me up on blind dates with friends in Texas.
Her friends or your friends?
Like people that she just meets. And like, this is not to... I'm very thankful that my mom, you know, wants that for me, but it's because she's like, you don't go out in Dallas. Like, you don't really have friends. Like, you only have the same 2 friends. Like, you only hang out with your cousins. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with that, you know? And she feels bad that I don't have friends. Or like, if I'm like, hey, because I always ask my mom, like, hey, do you want to go out here with me or there with me? And she's like, no, like, I'm busy. Like, ask one of your friends. And I'm like, well, you know, my 2 friends that have work or they're busy and whatever. And she's like, this is why you need friends. But I'm like, no. And so randomly she was like, oh my God, I met this really nice girl and I gave her your Instagram and she's going to message you. And so you guys can go out and become friends. And I'm like, Mom, that's not how it works. Yeah. I'm like, I really like my core group of people right now. And I was like, it's fine. It's okay to have a small group of friends.
Yes, but I think 2 things can exist at the same time. You can be happy with your core group, but you should also be open to the possibilities of meeting new people.
I am, but just
to an extent, of course.
To an extent.
Not just every stranger you have to become best buddies with, but I think you have to have the mindset of, I am open to the possibilities of making friends with people. I think for me, when I make friends, new friends, it's very much an in-person. Do we vibe?
Exactly, me too.
Unfortunately, a lot of the time, it's sometimes like at very limited events. Maybe it's like a makeup event. Maybe it's like an influencer event. And I do have to like push myself out of those things so where I can meet other people that aren't just influencers or in the entertainment world. But I like to meet people in person. And like, if it's more than once and I'm like, damn, we vibe. Maybe we should hang out. Like, this is cool. And I've made friends like that.
Yeah.
But I like to make sure that my core is solid.
Yeah.
My handful of people is solid. Like that doesn't really stray.
Yeah.
Like those people are solid.
I agree. I am a very social butterfly, so I do love to meet new people and make new friends. But like you said, in person.
Yeah.
Because even just like in my relationships, like every person that I dated, I met them in person and not online.
Okay.
So, yeah, I am a very in person because I pick up on energy very quickly. What's your moon in?
My moon is Capricorn. I know. It's very structured. It's very traditional.
Yes, it is.
It's very conservative almost. Like, that's why, like,
I think that's why you come off a little bit intense, maybe?
Yes, especially when it comes to like love. I'm very structured with it and very grounded with it.
You are. Yeah. It's like, this is what I want, XYZ, and there's like,
you're not willing. Like, I'm not budging on my like morals
that's
and
what
like
I'm
boundaries
saying, like,
and needs.
Exactly. That's
because the Pisces will take over. The romance will take over. Like I'll be in the movie. But because my Capricorn moon
doesn't allow that.
It protects me. It's just like you gotta meet the checklist. There's a bouncer.
I love that.
My Capricorn moon is the bouncer before you get into the party where you meet Pisces me.
Oh my god, I love that.
And then I'm an Aquarius rising. That's why I'm so like energetic and people think I'm very outgoing. But I'm extremely shy. Like this one guy that I'm talking to right now, he was telling me, he's like, you're really shy. And I was like, why? And he's like, we went to a mixology class as one of our dates because I told him that I think it would be so cool to take like a bartending class. Yeah, that's fun. And he set it up. He fully set it up for me. I was like, oh, period. So we go, and he had gone to the restroom, and he's very talkative. So he was talking to the people there. I'm shy. Like, I'm shy. So he had gone to the restroom, and I'm just like on my phone. And like, people are there with their groups. I'm there on a date. So it's just me and the man. Yeah. So he went to the restroom, and I'm just like on my phone. And he's like, yeah, whenever I came back, I saw that you were like not talking to anybody. You were just on your phone. And I'm like, what am I going to do? Talk to a stranger? And I don't know. And I should, but...
It is so true though, but you are an outgoing shy person, I would say, right?
I'm like a extroverted introvert.
Okay.
In a weird way. Like I'm an outgoing introvert. Oh, even then.
Yeah. I would say
I'm a charismatic introvert. I don't feel like I'm that outgoing, but I'm very charismatic that people must think like, oh, you must like talk to strangers. When I talk to you, you're so fun and da-da-da. But it takes like certain type of people to awaken that in me.
No, I love to talk to strangers.
Really? I don't.
But I wish I had a bouncer's moon because my moon's in Cancer.
Oh, God.
I know.
My God.
I know.
That's like emotionally volatile.
No, that's what I'm saying though. Like, and this is what people don't understand is that I feel too much. I feel so deeply. I feel too much. And like, it's so overwhelming and it can be so exhausting because I tend to take on other people's feelings without me wanting to. It's just kind of like in my nature. And I love to help people and I love to be there for people. And that's where like my boundaries get blurred a little bit because then I tend to forget my boundaries and I'm like, oh, I'm here for you. I'm giving you my all so I can like, and it's fucked me over. And so my moon is really what kind of like just sets me over the edge. Even when like back then when I had to like deal with very difficult, overwhelming situations, I would let it completely take over me and I would go into very bad habits to kind of release that and express that. And it wasn't the healthiest.
You love love.
I love love.
And that almost like shoots you in the foot.
It literally shoots me in the foot because again, like the broken bird cage.
Complex.
What is it called?
Broken bird complex.
I just said Birkin.
I'm thinking of bags.
Literally. No, yeah, but that, my moon in Cancer literally, because I empathize with everyone, even with the most volatile people that I have came across, like I tend to see the good in absolutely everyone and I will try to keep finding that like light in the darkness of some people and then it ended up breaking me. But now, I have with therapy again, I have been able to become very aware that I can empathize with people, but then I had to put that boundary of being like, okay, until what point are you going to empathize with them? Because like, then you're going to push that boundary. So,
I mean, even our conversations about a certain guy in each of our lives, the way we dealt with them is so different.
So different. And that's where I was like, you're better than me.
Like I'm very Capricorn with it. Where I was like structured and I'm like, nah, you're disrespecting me. You're playing in my face. Get out of here. Like, don't. Like, leave me alone. And he was chasing me. And I was like, nah, like, get the fuck out of here. And you're like, and then he was doing this to me. And I'm like, Daisy, stand up. Get up, Daisy.
It's because, you know what? Like, I just...
like, you need to stand up.
That's what everybody was telling me. I wish you were with me when everything was going down.
You know, you can call me. You have my number.
No, for real. My sister's a Capricorn, so literally she was, and we talk about it now because she's like, I just don't know what to do when you're crying and when you're like in your feeling. And I was just like,
oh, I love when people cry.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes I cry.
You know,
because I love to cry.
You know what's so weird? This guy had a fetish that like.
Were you crying?
Like during sex, he would like for women to cry. Like that would turn him on. I was like, I think you have problems.
Girl, it's like that one I told you, the guy with that one kink. I was like, that's not a kink. That's like
trauma.
That's illegal. That's a crime.
That's like trauma.
Like, that's weird.
No, yeah, we were talking about kinks.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish some of these conversations would go on the podcast.
That guy had a weird kink, and I was like, I don't think that's a kink. That's a crime.
You're like, that's illegal. Actually.
Yeah, that's illegal.
Oh my God. No, yeah, but the way that we have dealt with situations is very different, but that situation in general taught me a lot. So I feel like sometimes I do need to, and here's the thing though, because I have healed myself from a lot, but I still find myself kind of, making up excuses for people. And so I was like, okay, Daisy, this was your last chance where God and the universe was like, I'm going to keep showing you how much this person is not good for you until you learn your lesson. And I'm like, I learned my lesson. You know?
Girl, that's your pattern.
It is. It's a pattern, and it could be,
And like, I think the universe you have to be careful with manifestation, even when you're unaware that you're manifesting, because you can say like, oh, I want love. And the universe says, okay, well, I'm going to keep giving you the same thing until you ask me for something specific.
You know what I kept trying to manifest? Because this is about to get very interesting. For a very long time, I was in my masculine energy and I was not aware of it. I was not aware of it until this guy that I started talking to checked me on it because I was moving into my new house. And he's very masculine, older than me, very, just a man. Okay. And he was like, oh, I want to buy you furniture. I got offended. And I was like, you want to buy me furniture? I can buy my own furniture. Like, blah, 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 blah. And he literally looked at me like, okay. He was like, why are you being so masculine? And I was like, oh my God. I am
daddy issues too.
Yes, it was that. And to me, it's like, because of the daddy issues, to me, whenever a man tries to like just take care of me or provide or do something, I'm just like, okay, no, because then if I take it, then they're going to feel like I need to return that favor or like I need to, now they have power over me or like something. So it definitely was like a trigger for me back then. So me being in my masculine energy, I would be like, no, I would get very defensive and I'd be like, I can provide for myself. I'm independent. I'm a strong woman. But again, it tied back to that. So once I realized that, I then started to work on entering my feminine energy. And I started to be more submissive and kind of take a step back and,
allow a man to take lead.
Yes, exactly. And
so provide.
Yes. And so even in that moment, I was like, Daisy, you should have let this man buy you a damn couch. Like, what the fuck, girl? Oh my God. Like, I literally look back at that moment. I'm like, oh, he could have bought me a couch. Anyways, so when I started to step into my feminine energy, I was like, okay, now I want to attract, and I was manifesting a very macho man. I was like, I want a machista man, blah, blah, blah. And that's where I fucked up. That's where I fucked up because I was like, well, I want a guy to like, take my hand and lead me and guide me and like control me, but like not in that type of, and I wasn't very specific. Yeah. So then the universe was like, oh, okay, you want a macho machista man? Yeah. Here you go. And I was like, oh, I don't think I like this. I was like, I'm sorry. What are your thoughts on machista man?
Machismo is very like,
in our culture,
it's a little toxic.
It is.
Not fully toxic. There's some things that I do appreciate where like, men are providers, and I like that, especially because I have sisters. Yeah. So I'm still like being like, you better be taking care of my girls. You better be providing a home. You better be providing safety, security, food, like all that stuff. Why? Because my dad provided that. So my understanding of a man who's a provider comes from my immigrant dad. He had a very limited education.
And he still did it.
And he still bought us a home in Texas. He figured it out. He had multiple jobs. He figured it all out. The lights never got cut off. There was always food in the fridge. Maybe we didn't have every channel of cable. Maybe we didn't have internet the majority of the time. But he made sure that we were good. He made sure my mom was good. He made sure my sisters were good. So I'm like, if this immigrant man can do all that
with limited resources,
some of you like American men with way more resources should be able to provide all that. Mm-hmm. So for me, like I have like a very like, it's like a double-edged sword with like machismo.
Me too.
Because I want a man to take charge, but I'm a very dominant personality. Mm-hmm. So I want it to be almost like a modern type of like approach to it, because I'm like, I still like, okay. I talked about this kind of on La Plática with Josh and Sebas, where I'm a very dominant. I have dominant energy.
Well, yeah, you told me that, yeah.
Right? I have very dominant energy because of what I do. Like, I'm the firstborn. Like, I have been almost like that co-parent in my family. Like, I have very dominant energy. So for me in a relationship, I don't want to be that. I don't want that.
100%.
My whole life I've been like fighting and pushing through. I want a partner that makes me feel like
exactly. You can turn off your brain. Exhale. Like you can just be submissive and let him take the lead.
Yeah, 100%. And like it's not to like dog my like parents or my family, but it's like I can't just exhale with them. Yeah. They themselves are still working. Yeah. I can't just like not work and for like a year and be fine and they'll cover me. That's not a possibility. So, and I'm not looking for that for a man, but I would like a man that's like, yo, I got you. Yeah. Like if shit happens, I got you. And I'm like, oh my God, I can breathe.
Like, thanks, Daddy.
So once you prove to me that you are that very like alpha energy, and not in like the toxic machista way where like you own me. Mm-hmm. So it's like when I say I want a more modern approach, it's like I want a partnership, but I want somebody that's like gonna like lead. I'm holding your hand and I'm right behind you and I'm holding you down, babe. Like I got your back. Mm-hmm. Ain't nobody gonna sneak up on you behind here because I got you. But like you got the front. Like you lead, you know? So there's certain things that I still like. So my Capricorn moon, I like that. In like my previous relationship, there was things that I like said that I required and they were so stupid. like they were dumb. Where it's like, you need to open the car door for me. You need to get me flowers. You need to treat me like a doll. Like, you know, like these are things that like, I can pay for everything myself. Mm-hmm. I can do everything myself. If I wanted to have sex, I can hit up anybody. Like that's never the issue. Yeah. So for me, I'm like, what do you, as the man in my life, bring to the table? Mm-hmm. You know, like y'all always say, like, what does she bring to the table? What does she bring? No, what do you bring to the table? Because I'm sitting here. Yeah, I'm sitting here, and if you want to sit here, tell me. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. Because some people are like, oh, you're a gold digger. Da, 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 da.
No.
If you think I'm a gold digger, you don't have money. You don't have money. Because a real boss man with money don't give a fuck about you wanting his money because clearly it's an exchange. I'm hot, you're rich.
And clearly. They also don't care about how much money you have.
Yes.
That's the thing. And I've said this before, I want a man who can add to my table without disturbing what I already have on my table. And it is true, like, and that's why I haven't.
Because my table, like, I invite everybody.
Yeah.
I invite my family, my friends, and I'm like, feast.
Yes.
This is what I can provide. Please take. I'm a giving person.
In a relationship, what can you do?
Yes, like, what can you do? Like, do you bring stuff to the table where you can also, for me, and for the people that I love around me, because that's who you're going to have to be interacting with. Yeah. It's not just me. Mm-hmm. It's not just Gabriel that you get.
There's so much that goes into it. And I've talked about this too, where it's like, and it sounds a little bit funny thinking about this, but my family, specifically my mom's side, we do so many carne asadas on a random Tuesday, Saturday, Thursday, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I always think like whenever I start to really like a guy or I'm like, okay, I can see this working on the future. I'm like, would they get along with my family? Would they be able to talk with my tia or like dance or just have fun? And whenever if I immediately say no, I'm like, this is never going to work out. For me, like you have to get along with my family. My family has to like, for me, my family is so important. So on top of them bringing stuff to the table, it's like also my family. It's not just like me, just like you said.
And we kind of talked about the Spanish thing.
Yeah.
Where para mí, like, mi familia habla español. Mm-hmm. And I know I speak weird Spanish. You bitches out there. They're like, why does Gabriel sound Dominican? Why does he sound Puerto Rican? I like Spanish and I like to recreate certain words. I'm not.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I was like, you bitches.
When I get drunk,
I'm going to say español. I love to say español. Like,
wait, my friends know that when I'm like super, super drunk, I start talking in a Colombian accent. That's when they know to take me home.
I'm like,
ay,
because they also sound like they're going to cry. I'm like, I live for Colombian accent. But for me, like, mi abuelita habla español.
Yeah.
Mis tías, mis primos, mis tíos.
Mi mamá no sabe cómo hablar inglés, so to me it's
mis
like...
padres entienden español y pueden hablar el español y mucha gente en mi familia lo puede hablar, pero nomás para like to circumnavigate the American culture. Yeah. No pueden tener conversaciones as deep in English. Mm-hmm. Y eso a veces como like, no es que me duele, pero I love them. Yeah. And if my partner doesn't know Spanish, you don't know that part of me then. Yeah. You don't have access to my grandma. You don't have access to my aunts and uncles. And that's fine. You don't need to. But I would like my partner to eventually like learn Spanish. Yeah. So like right now I'm talking to this guy. Mm-hmm. He's the only one that I'm talking to right now. But I say talking because just because I'm talking to one doesn't mean you have it. Okay, that doesn't mean you're my man.
True.
Like, it's just a one-man race.
Yeah.
But you still got to win first place.
You're not putting all your eggs in his
basket. I'm not putting all my eggs, but so far, there's a lot of eggs in that basket. But he's moreno.
Oh.
You know, he's moreno. Like,
wait, I know who you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm like, he's moreno, and I've always appreciated, and I said it earlier, I was like, I just don't like white boys because it's like, it lacks culture, it lacks flavor. American white boys. So then I was like, oh, like he's moreno, and I don't mind it. Mm-hmm. But he's like fluent in Spanish. And I was like, he's not Afro-Latino.
But he knows Spanish.
Yeah, he knows Spanish. And I'm like,
I would have been like sold.
I'm like, are we gonna get married?
You're like, please.
No, literally. I'm like, wow, like, and we have conversations in Spanish, and he listens to Spanish music, and I'm like,
I love that.
Imagine like me being the Latina baddie that I am, going out in public, playing reggaeton, and I'm dancing on my man, and he doesn't know how to dance.
Yeah,
that would break my heart.
That's the thing.
That would break my heart. I got all this ass, and I'm shaking it on him, and he's just like,
he doesn't know how to catch it. That would be.
Like you need, like, come on. So the fact that he knows all these things, and I'm like, if this works out, you could talk to my grandma, like you could talk to these people in my family, and I think it would be really cool. So
I think it'd be really great.
Mm-hmm. So I there's certain things that I would like, which is like somebody that speaks Spanish, but it's not a requirement for me in the way that respect, ambition, drive, and like. Self-awareness, like nuance, like self-identity, a balance and understanding of their ego, like those are things that are requirements for me. Mm-hmm. I'm not looking for you to be so-and-so height, so-and-so weight, so-and-so BMI. Like, babe, we could get you a trainer.
Yeah.
Like like if that's the case, like I don't care.
Yeah.
So for me, like those are like certain important things for me.
Do you think he fits into that machista? How would you even say machista in English?
I feel like in English, the loose translation would be like toxic masculinity, but I don't feel like it's always so toxic. It is kind of toxic, but whatever.
But you know what? I will say
it's like traditional.
Yeah.
I feel like more so traditional.
It's just whenever you were talking about how you grew up with your dad and the qualities and the characteristics and like everything that he provided for your family, I'm like, that was not existent in my life, so I'm just like, okay.
Because like for me also, I didn't grow up with a super machista dad that thought of my mom as property. My mom would never. So I grew up thinking that like, oh, this is machismo, where he's like a little more conservative, but he's a provider. So I don't have like the best definition for machismo, because for me it was like my dad was a provider, and yes, he had more conservative values, and he wasn't cool with me being gay in the beginning, but he came around. So it's like it wasn't like this super bad thing for him. But for me with this guy, he's definitely more takes more of that like
leader role.
Yeah, like if we're talking about like male and female like roles in it,
he takes more of
the male role in it, which I don't mind, because I'm like, okay, cool. Like you should, because if not, I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna lead, and then I'm gonna be turned off by you.
Yeah.
So like, I didn't ask him for this, right? But he opens a car door for me when we go to his car. He drives everywhere. He lets me passenger princess. He grabs my thigh just like Daisy grabbed my thigh.
I'm like, are you talking about me?
And like, pays for everything. You don't have to, but he's just like, I like when we go to a restaurant and he's like, oh, like, what do you want? And I'm like, I don't know. And we're talking.
I love a man like that.
And when I finally decide, he orders for us. And there's just something of like, damn, I really get to just sit back and relax.
You know what I love too? If a guy takes me out on a date and I'm very indecisive. Okay, it comes with being a Libra, and I'm like, oh, I don't really know what I want. He's like, okay, I'll just order us a bunch of things, and then you can just kind of pick. I'm like, oh yes, like because we were talking about providers. I want to kind of touch on this subject, and I want to get your input, and I'll tell you mine. Okay. What are your thoughts on going 50-50 with your man in a relationship? Do you think that your partner should be the provider, or it should be shared?
Okay. These are two different things, okay? One, if we're talking about men and women, and I'm giving advice to my sisters, because when I speak to women, I'm talking to my sisters, I'm talking to my mom, I'm talking to my aunts. So I'm always going to want the best. I'm an ally through and through to women in every capacity, because women have always protected me. If my sister told me this guy wants to go 50-50, I'd be like, girl, you're stupid. Girl, you're stupid. Like, that's crazy. Especially like when we talk about this, like especially on social media, it went really viral because it was Monet and her boyfriend. And it was like, oh my God, that's crazy. That is a different conversation, because those are two people with money. Yeah. Those are two people with money. Okay. Those are different conversations, because she's not like going to be like, hey, send me money for my nails. She's like, I can pay for my own nails. Yeah. She probably doesn't even have to. I love Monet. Like, you know what I mean? She doesn't have to pay for makeup, hair. I love Monet. Yeah. So, but if it was my sister and she doesn't have a job that's paying her then that's a whole hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and the man is supposed to be the provider, I would say to my sister, be like, see where you want to give, see what you want to give to the relationship. But when it comes to the home, when it comes to the bills, when it comes to all and that,
marriage, and if kids are involved.
Yeah, because women, when you provide a family, do way more work than a man. With their body, with their mind, with their soul, with their love. They do so much more than a man. The baby actually takes a lot out of women. So if you're going to be providing that, this man have better been providing everything. And if a man can't, that's fine. I think we live in a day and age where like Darwin's theory of evolution has gone out the window. If a man can't provide, he dies. You know what I mean? Back in the day, if you can't provide, the woman's not going to go for you. If you can't go out and hunt and bring back food and create a shelter and protect her from other men,
all of you guys are going to die.
She's not going to go with you. It's like the whole like, if I went to jail type of thing. Like, I'm going to find the biggest man who protects me and make sure nothing happens to me. Like, absolutely. So for my sister, I'd be like, girl, like, I would not be paying for the house. I think your name better be on that house. Your name better be on that deed. And maybe you pay for like the internet bill. You know, because that's what my parents did. My parents didn't require me to pay rent. My parents were just like, we want to teach you responsibility. What bill do you want to take over? I was like, I'll take over the internet bill because I also want to up it, like the usage of it. So I was like, I'll take over the internet bill. It comes with like the cable. I will pay for it. But they weren't like, you have to pay for this, for that, for this, for that. So if my parents don't require it, why? You think I'm going to be in a relationship with a man who requires it?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, babes. And if you can't provide, and I'm saying this for the girls, if your man can't provide and he can't like have the ambition to go get another job or get a better paying job, like to provide for you, like that's just your roommate and he gets to fuck on you. What's the point of that?
Wait, no, I literally said this to one of my guy friends and he's like, that's crazy. I was like, no, it's not. Because I'm just like when did men want to be women? Like when did this happen where like straight men want to be like too soft and be like the women in it? And like, no. Women provide so much love and empathy and understanding, and a man only looks at the dollars. Oh, why do I have to pay for everything? Because she's going to hold you down. When you come home stressed after work, she's going to be there probably with a clean home, with a cooked meal and taking care of you, because that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm doing. Because when my man comes home after getting all that money,
baby, come here, baby. Let me take your shoes. I will untie your shoes for you. I will massage your feet. Baby, I made you a shake. Here's some food. Do you want me to order? What do you want? Because when you are a provider, I provide. But I provide different things.
Yeah.
I provide emotional support. I provide stability. I provide like love and like a safe space.
A home.
Because if it wasn't for women and us, because I love like a girl, men, you could live on your own.
Yeah.
But when you go home, you know that shit is cold and lonely. You know that shit is cold and lonely.
And it's not a
It's
home.
way better to have somebody there that can make it into a home. So when a guy's like, oh, I don't want to pay for everything. Okay, then don't.
Bye.
Be single. Or have a pick-me-sha. That's like, oh, I'll pay for 50-50. Or have like a Barbara the Builder, where she's like, oh yeah, like I can build him up to be like whatever. Like, no. Like go find those girls. Yeah. Cause like you're clearly like not the type of man I want, and that's fine. I know this is coming off really judgmental because we just went in on men. And I don't want it to seem like that because like unfortunately I love men. Okay. If I could be straight, I totally would. Because I've said it even in La Platica. I was like, if I could be straight, like women just provide a much better home. Yeah. They truly do. So like I feel like I have to do that in the relationship. But if I could be with a girl, oh trust me, I would. But then it's like, I don't know what y'all want. Like, you want me to pay 50-50? Like, oh, then we should just be roommates. And if we're gonna be roommates, no. I'm not even trying to like conceptualize it. Like I'm not. But for me and this guy, yeah. If we, because my previous relationship, it was more. It wasn't 50-50, but like I would kind of like chip in on stuff because I really liked the guy, you know. But it really bothers me. It really bothers me that after the breakup, I was like, why the fuck was I putting money into that relationship? Fucking bum ass man. Like, what the fuck? Fucking, I was spending all this money. Like, that's the thing. If a man is paying for everything, even if he like dogs you out and you break up, it's like, at least I didn't drop a dime. Yeah. You know?
What I'll sometimes do is I will test them and I'll be like, oh, I'll pay for it. But like, here's the thing with me though. Like, if there's times where I offer to pay just because I want to pay. You get me? Like, even if it's something small where it's like, oh, you know what? Let me just pay for your gas tank. If we're going, like,
girl, I'll pay for a drink.
It was an example. It was an example.
Well, I'll buy you a gift.
Gas, or like, if we go to In-N-Out and it's something small and he's always paying for all these expensive things, then I'll do like pay for little things like that, just like because I like to show that I'm reciprocating the effort that you are like putting in.
Yeah. I'm also spending my money, even if it's not as much as you. I am spending my money on you to show you that I am invested in this and I am interested in this.
Exactly. That's what I meant. Yeah, I'll do like little things like that to show that
because
I'm not just
looking
using
for a sugar
you.
daddy. Exactly. Because I could have found that. I could be living in the Hollywood Hills with an old man just tanning and being like, Daisy, come to LA, stay with me.
Oh my God,
stay with me and Bob. That would be his white name.
No, for real. I'm like, me too. Here I am jumping from Airbnb and Airbnb, but I could have.
Because it's like, I'm not looking for a man to take care of me. I'm wanting a partner. And I know what I bring to the table. And I know it's emotional intelligence and stability and love. Love is priceless. Priceless. And every man, every single one of y'all that I have interacted with and dated and had anything with, all y'all motherfuckers stay coming back. And every single one of them are like, I can't find somebody like you. And I was like, absolutely, you never will. Period. Especially a bitch that looks like this.
You're so pretty.
And to be this loving and understanding and empathetic, good luck.
And so intelligent.
Yeah.
So intelligent.
I'm a dime. I'm a diamond. Like, it's going to be real hard for you to find. You can find it. Absolutely. Maybe not in America. Like, it's going to be real hard to find another bitch like me. And that's fine. That's fine. Because I love it. Because I'm like, yeah, now you realize. I hate when a guy realizes what you were worth after. And they try to like spin the block. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works. Because if you're trying to spin it, that block got bigger. There's hella speed, but there's no like obstacles. Like, it's real hard. And sometimes like men can't let go of that ego of like, well, I had you once. I'm sorry. Why can't I have you exactly the same? No.
Now you're really going to have to apply pressure.
Yes. Like that one guy I was telling you about. Yeah. Where I'm like, I let my guards down the first time because that Capricorn, I was like, get back. I'm going to be the Pisces in this situation. I'm going to be in love. And you fumbled it, and that's fine. I'm not begging nobody to love me. But when you went out and you realize, damn, I can't find anything better. Like, there really isn't. You come back and I'm like treating you like, okay. And they're like, what? And I'm like, bro, you had the chance the first time.
And you fumbled.
You fumbled it. Mm-hmm. Now you want a second chance? First of all, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And I'm not trying to let you shame me again. Mm-hmm. So to get that second chance, you really got to put in work. And it has to be consistent. And it has to be like for a while. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be like us meeting for the first time.
Yeah.
And I think men can't sometimes conceptualize that with like their egos because they're like.
But that, and the thing with that is that it'll make them more obsessed.
Oh, absolutely.
And make them question more.
Men
like,
love a bitch.
Why can't, you know what? We were talking about this because literally you can be so nice and you can do this for a man and you can, you know, literally put all your eggs in the basket and treat him like a fucking king and he's still going to go for the bitch.
Literally.
He's still gonna go
so
for
you
the bitch.
have to like have that.
You just have to have those boundaries.
You have to have those boundaries and you kind of have to be a bitch until you get married. Like realistically.
You know, I'm a bitch for the most part, but there's just sometimes where I'm just like, I just want to be loved. So then I stop being a bitch and then I get fucked over. And then
but men, no, they're like dogs, bro. You got to train them. We're cats. But we come pre-trained.
But then like, here's the thing. Like, for example, like the situation that I was telling you about where, you know, after somebody like fucked me over, I'm like, well, the ball's no longer in your court. It's in my court. So now you have to, if you want to see me, you have to come find me. Yeah. And so that's how that started happening where it's like, you know, it was like he was putting in the work to try to see me. But then I was like, oh, well, you know, I'm just a girl and I'm kind of like, you know, in that mood. So then I'm like, oh, let me just let it slide. And then that just completely fucked it up because it's like, oh, okay, well, I have her back. So, yeah.
Like,
it's just.
Men are so annoying.
I will just say this in general, though. Dating now in this age and time is just so difficult. And people still ask me, why are you single? Blah, blah. I'm like, I could have had a boyfriend a long time ago, but I just do not want to settle with just anyone. Like, I do not give a fuck that I've been single for this long. Like, I'm perfectly happy. I'm not sad. I'm not lonely.
You're young.
I get to travel. I'm young. Yeah. You know what? Somebody had commented the other day. They were like, oh, because I had talked in my last podcast that I was like, oh, I don't think I'm moving to Miami anymore because, you know, I couldn't find a place. And so for right now, I think I'm just going to be in Texas, but like traveling, like I go to somebody was like, oh, Daisy just sounds like such an exhausting person to be around because she can never make up her mind. And I'm like, Are you mad that I can reinvent myself? Are you mad that I can just pick up and travel wherever I want to? Like, are you mad that I, you know, like I'm just living my life for me? Because it was also brought up that they're like, oh, she starts a project and then she starts another one. And I'm like, I don't want to be in the same spot that I was a year ago, a month ago, a week ago. I'm like, I'm constantly changing, evolving. You know, I don't want to be stuck in any aspect of my life. And so I was just like, what is wrong with me wanting to just travel and not settle down? And dating, you do have to date a lot of men to like.
You got to kiss a lot of frogs, unfortunately.
I know. And so it's like.
Well, two things. One, if I'm too much, go find less.
Exactly.
Go find less.
And even whenever I saw that comment, I was like, babe, I am the most fun to have around. My friends live through me. My friends that are married and have kids are like, I lived through your crazy stories. I wish. And I'm like, babe, I'm not exhausting anyone. I'm super independent.
You're going to come across a lot of people who are content. And that's fine. There's nothing bad with that. There's absolutely nothing bad with that. But those people tend to be confused when they see people who aren't just in the same space. Yes. Because it makes them, not all of them, but some of them question why they themselves are not doing other things. Because there's some people that are like, I'm happy with my job. I'm happy with my home. Yeah. I'm happy with my life. I love that other people try different things. Shout out to them.
Yeah, that's good for you.
That seems stressful for me. I don't want to do that. I'm fine.
Yeah.
But there's some people that in the back of their head, they've always wanted more.
Yeah.
They've always had that like, I wish I could.
When I read that comment, I was like, you're projecting. So
yes,
like, I'm,
a lot of it is projecting.
And I didn't get upset. I was just like, babe, I'm perfectly fine with my life. I love traveling. I love my life right now, and I'm very content. I'm very thankful. So I was just like, if it seems like a lot for a lot of people like that, it's completely fine.
I go find less.
Yeah. But another thing that I want to talk about, what are your thoughts on the Cristian Nodal and
period. Okay, because we didn't talk about this, and you're like, we're gonna save this for a podcast.
Yeah,
okay.
no, because I know you were gonna go.
So this is what I know so far. So he was with Belinda, right?
Yeah.
And they were together for a while, and I think he like dogged her out. But at the time, he made the song with Angela, and Belinda was like, "There's something here.
Going on here.
There's something here." And he was like, no, there's nothing going on here. And she's like, I don't know. They break up, right? And he's still like, I want to have a baby with you. And she's like, that's crazy. We're not even together. But we were together. So she didn't have a baby with him, right? Belinda didn't have a baby with him. So then they split up, and he takes the breakup really hard. And he gets all these tattoos on his face. And I'm like, oh, that's a little crazy. Okay. Like, that's crazy. Like, how do you go from like a country guy to all of a sudden like having tattoos? And like, I'm like, okay, whatever. Then he gets with Kasu. And people were like, oh, they make more sense because the aesthetic, right? Because she's tattooed, he's tattooed. And I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. But clearly she healed him. She like fixed repaired him, like allowed him to like feel love and be loved again, got pregnant by him. Then they break up, right? As she's pregnant?
No, she had the baby.
They break up, but at the time when they were pregnant, Angela is all in the comments, oh my God, relationship goals. Oh my God, I'm so jealous. I live for y'all. I'm going to be a tia. I'm going to be a tia. And I'm like, okay, weird bitch. Because like now what we know, right? So then they break up and he gets with her. And it's just like, that's weird because like Belinda's like, see, I fucking clock shit. Belinda's like, I knew there was fucking something going on there because even Angela said, this isn't a brand new relationship. It's like we pressed play on something we pressed pause on so long ago. Excuse me? When the fuck was it going on so long ago? Because he was with Belinda.
Yeah, and she was also underage.
Yeah, and you were underage. So what are you talking about, little girl? So then now they're together. And to me, I'm Team Kasu. I'm Team Kasu because I'm like, damn, like, bro, you're a dog. I'm not on his side at all. But I'm also not against Angela because I'm also understanding that she's very young. She's a young girl. Naive. She's naive. And people are like, da, 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 da. We have to remember she grew up very rich, very privileged, very pretty, very talented. Her life is very different than ours. Yeah. She's had everything she's ever wanted. And probably a lot of people don't tell her no. So for her, she's like, why are y'all mad? I wanted this man, so I got him. Y'all need to focus on yourselves. That's probably her attitude and her energy because she has nothing to worry about other than not having hips.
Wait, what?
Because she pads her hips. She's like a drag queen.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
She's a drag queen.
Gabby.
Well, somebody said that she pads her hips. No, and I'm like, that makes sense. Because how do you go from having no hips to all of a sudden hips, but everything else stayed the same? But I was like, whatever. That's none of my business. But for me, I think, yes, shame her and be like, girl. It's giving very Billie Eilish. Because Billie Eilish in that Wildflower song talks about how she got with the man that broke one of her friend's heart. And she's like, I was there for you, cried on my shoulder, and I was there for you, and now I'm with him. And I was like, ooh, like that's weird. But with Angela, she takes too much pride in being like, oh, my man, this is my man. Like, oh my God. First of all, you're young and you're pretty and you're in your 20s. Why are you with a man with a child? I don't think a girl should ever be with a man with a child until she hits 30. At 30, if he has a child, cool, date him. That's perfectly fine. But if you're in your 20s, you're viable and you're hot, you should not be with a man with a kid. I don't care how rich he is. I don't care how good he sings. You were too pretty, girl. So shame her, but allow her to learn from it.
Yeah.
I think everyone's like, cancel her. I was like, no. She's young.
She's very
She doesn't have a pattern of going after her friends' exes. If she does it again, absolutely cancel her. She's trash, you know? But I think we have to give young people the opportunity to make mistakes and learn from them and grow from them, even if there is shame in there, so that they don't make that mistake again. Hopefully she learns from it. But I think in the whole thing, he's the trash one.
He's the problem, and it just sucks that a lot of women got hurt in it.
Yes.
And Angela's still gonna be hurt at the end.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I doubt they're gonna fucking.
Girl, how you get them is how you lose them.
That is very true.
Hopefully she don't get pregnant. I mean, she might get hips if she gets pregnant. Natural hips.
Fucking weak bitch. What I was gonna say is that I empathize a lot with Gasu, and she's handling it with a lot of grace and kindness. And I'm just like, I feel like if she didn't have that baby, it definitely would have hit her hard. So I empathize with Gasu a lot because I would hate to be in her position. I would also hate to be in Belinda's position because she was pointed as like the crazy one. Yeah. Like she's making stuff up, she's jealous, she's controlling, and then now it's like, oh, she was right.
And that's the hard part, that sometimes it's like it takes time to show people's true character. So I'm sure at the time she's like, he's literally crazy, but I'm the crazy one because I'm handling it like fine, and he's like getting tattoos on his face. I'm the crazy one. I damaged him. I was like, watch.
Yeah, no, I think it's a very, and I feel like just in our culture, the people love chisme. So it like has chisme. Blown into like such a huge scandal, and it's just like insane.
And she's like a Mexican darling because her dad is iconic.
Did you see that? Supposedly they got married in Italy.
I don't think that was true.
I don't think that was true either.
Because they're only going off of the makeup artist specializing in bridal makeup.
Yeah.
But it's like, you can also hire a bridal makeup artist to do your makeup.
So true. Yeah,
like,
so true.
She probably like liked his makeup.
I just think at this point,
flew him out.
Yeah, I think at this point they're just like trying to piece everything together. But
and also, she doesn't even need that much makeup. Like, girl, just put on a red lipstick and a wing liner and a lash. That's all she does.
It literally was like a throuple. I think it's the worst when you think it's a relationship with just you and your person, but it turns out to be the three of you. I think that is the worst.
And then, like, it must also like bother me knowing I was right, and now all of our memories together as me and you are tainted. They're fully tainted.
Now I'm questioning everything.
I'm questioning it all. It's all tainted.
What was his zodiac sign?
His?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably a Scorpio.
I love Scorpio men. What are you talking about?
I don't like Scorpio men.
Okay.
They're toxic.
Really?
Yes.
I love Scorpio men, and I love Scorpio men and Capricorn men and Gemini men.
Gemini men?
Yeah.
Oh God, no!
I can't do they are my soulmate.
Usually with like a Capricorn man, I could see that for you. I think that would be more grounding for you because you're such a free spirit.
Yeah.
Or even like a Virgo. I love a Virgo.
Oh, I dated a Virgo.
Really? I love a Virgo.
It was my best relationship, but I'm just kind of like. But I will say I am a very free spirit and a wild card, and like, I think a lot of men see me as a challenge where they're like, oh, I can tie her down, I can control her, I can cut her wings, and it's like
I can catch her and put her in a cage.
Exactly. And that is, I'm a rising Sag, and so I need to feel like I'm free.
Constant change also.
Constant change. Literally, I cannot be in the same environment. That's why I love to travel and I love to be free. And the thing with me is like, if I feel cornered, I will run away as fast as I can. So yesterday, whenever the guy was like calling me, oh wait, no, I wasn't with you yesterday.
No.
Oh, I was with Tony, the guy that was doing my hair. This guy was calling me, and I'm like, dude, the more you call me, the more I'm not going to want to talk to you. Like, clearly I don't want to talk on the phone. Like, it just, I hate, oh my God, I also will say this, I do not that I don't like it, but I just hate it, and it bothers me a lot, is like needy people that are constantly like, give me attention. I hate that. Okay. I would love to, like, for me, ideally in a partnership, it's like, let's be together and let's have our own little world, and then we can create a world together. But I need that space.
I want my man with me all the time.
Oh my God.
I want to see him every day.
You just want to like live in his ball sack or something?
No, I just want him near me.
You want to like
be in the same house. Or like you go to work, you go do your own things, but it's like, I want to see you every day. That's why I can't do long distance. I feel like you could do long distance.
I can't though, because I also was in a long distance relationship, and like it was good until I found out that there was a lot of cheating. So then I was like, and then that made me very like paranoid about like long distance relationships. Okay. It's just like trust. Like trust is just so hard to build. Yeah. Trust can take years to build and be broken in seconds. So it's just like, but I can't do that neediness.
I'm needy. Like that Ariana Grande song, the needy one. I could be needy.
I feel like maybe if I'm in love, then it's different. But I haven't been in love in such a I have only been in love once. I will say that. And that was my longest relationship.
I've never been in love. I told my ex I loved him, but I wasn't in love with him.
Me too, and I always regretted it.
To say it.
I regret it.
He told me a month into it that he loved me.
That would have been a red flag.
Well, kind of, just because like I know I'm such an amazing person and I'm really hot and sexy, so I can understand how a man can fall in love with me really easily. But
I'm like, me too. I could have said that.
But then also, it is a red flag of like, you can't get to know me in a month.
No, yeah.
I'm a very nuanced, complex person. Like, it's gonna take you months. Yeah. And also, like, for me to hear "I love you," I need you to list why, and it better not be my looks, and it better not be what I give to you. It better be character.
You know what?
Characteristics of me.
If I love someone, like genuinely love someone, I would die for them. Mm-hmm. That is my way of like saying, like, if a guy really loves me, I know that he would take a bullet for me or that he would risk his life for me if I'm in danger or something. That's how I know that I love someone. And I have only ever felt that way for one man on this earth where I was like, I would take a bullet for him. I would die for him. I would burn for him for the rest of my life. And I have not felt that feeling. Have you ever felt like you're burning for someone? Like it's like this, like
burning, yes, but not like
that you would take a bullet for.
No, I would only take a bullet for my mom. That's the only person.
No,
my siblings. Shout out to y'all, but like, duck. I duck. I'll take it for my mom, but I take it for y'all. Be like, let it hit you in the shoulder, girl.
I'm such a hopeless romantic, but I have only been in love once, and I haven't felt that feeling ever again. But.
Well, you'll feel it again.
I'll feel it again.
I want to feel being in love with someone because I felt love for people, absolutely. And for my ex, I did feel love for him. Yeah, no. But I didn't genuinely feel like I was in love. And I feel like also because I only dated him for 4 months, I don't think I can fall in love with someone in 4 months.
No, it took me like a good year to actually like really. But I think falling in love, and maybe I just... Not that I fall in love fast, but I start to fantasize and like hopeless romantic. I start thinking about the future so quickly when I meet someone that I'm like interested in.
Like I saw this thing on TikTok where I was like, wait, I kind of like agree with this. And it's not about who likes you or who's pursuing you or like who just likes you. It's about who's brave enough to decide to take the risk of pursuing you intentionally and consistently with the decisions to keep choosing you, followed by words to match their actions. Because to me, that's the thing. I don't want to hear you telling me you love me.
Show me
you love me and then tell me you love me. Mm-hmm. And I want to know that when you say it, I picture all these things that have shown me you love me. Mm-hmm. Because I'm sick of words. Yeah. I need to see action. I need to see you doing things. And it doesn't mean buy me a Chanel bag. No. That's not what it means. It's just...
I would love a Chanel bag like that.
Shout out to the guys out there who can afford a Chanel bag. I would love one. No. But for me, it's like, what are things that you're doing that show me like, damn, like you really love me. Yeah, like you're doing things out of your way. Like, and maybe just like, even especially like with this guy, like, it's not love because it's very early on, but I do get the feeling that like you like me because it's like
the little things. It's the little things.
Like you work like over 40 hours a week and you still manage to communicate with me while you're at work. Maybe if it's like little communication, but you still call me and you still like when you have that free time, you can be investing that in your friends and your family and yourself. But
if he wanted to, he would, and he does, and that's how you know that.
Unfortunately, I used to think that. I do. Trust me, I do. But I've learned that sometimes certain men aren't ready to, even though they want to. Oh my God. And that fucked me up because it made me think of certain men where I was like, oh, I cut this off because it's like, if you wanted to, you would. And then a guy explained it to me. He's like, sometimes you're aware that you're not ready, even though you want to. And you know that if you do, you're going to fuck it up. And that like broke my heart a little bit. And it made me a little more empathetic of like, I still expect you to do shit for me. But like certain guys where I was like, damn, I really like wrote you off as like, you didn't want me because you didn't do shit about it. It's like, oh, you weren't ready.
Yeah. Well, and then it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah. Maybe later in life.
later.
You know, sometimes you have to like let things go, and if they come back to you,
then it was meant to be.
It was meant for you, but if not, then
I highly agree. Okay, so now that we are getting closer to the end of the podcast, this is your okay. So I have 3 questions. What is the best zodiac sign you've dated? The room is very quiet right now. Don't say your own sign.
God, no. Oh my God. He was a fucking nightmare. Oh my God. He still gives me a headache to this day. Fucking bitch ass Pisces man. That's a Pisces man that I hate.
Okay.
Because I'm like, oh, like you're such a Pisces man.
What is the best sign you've dated? Just rapid question.
Unfortunately,
Libra?
Gemini.
You see, why are you
But
such a Gemini
he himself
hater?
was a Gemini, and he was like, he treated me like a queen. Like he really set the standard, and I have high standards.
Okay.
Because he really set them. He was a very attractive man, and he treated me like a fucking queen. He was just like too horny.
Oh, okay.
Like he wanted more of an open relationship, and I wasn't into that.
Okay.
But everything else was perfect.
Okay. What is the worst sign you've dated? Pisces?
No, unfortunately, I know he's like a headache, and I don't. But he really made it magical. I would say a Sagittarius, because I dated 2 Sagittariuses, and they were annoying.
Yeah, I think that's the worst sign.
Yeah, like they're very like they
for men.
Yeah. You could date a Sagittarius if his job has like constant like change in stuff. And he's constantly doing stuff with his job, because if a Sagittarius
need that constant
they don't
change.
have that, they're going to find it somewhere else. And if their love life and their work life is too stable,
yeah, they're going to get bored and they're going to go cheat. They're going to go blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, or they're going to want to travel all the time. They're going to want like, this is just too much.
He is rising Sag. I'm like, okay, this is the last one. What's more important, forgiveness or acceptance? That's a good one.
Ooh. Acceptance.
So I say the same.
It's hard because forgiveness is a very important thing, but I understand there's some things that you can't forgive, but the things that you can is because you accepted it. And then there's some things that like you can't change, and you have to come to an accepting energy, and that's more healing for a person than somebody who's willing to just forgive anything. Like there's some things that you shouldn't forgive. Yeah. Like disrespect is not something you should forgive. But accepting somebody's flaws and knowing that they're just not for you is far more, because I feel like to forgive sometimes like it means you're allowing it back in.
Yes.
A lot of the time, not all the time. Sometimes you forgive things to just release. Yeah. But a lot of the time you're allowing it back. And I don't want that a lot of the time. And I feel like acceptance is like, okay, I accept that happened because it did.
Acceptance is harder than forgiveness.
Yes, so much harder.
I said the same thing.
You can forgive a stranger. You can forgive a loved one. But accepting sometimes coming to terms that it happened and so accepting it, even if it's a trauma, even if it's pain, is so much harder.
Yeah, I agree. Wow. That's a great way to end this podcast episode. Gabby, I would love to have you back on here.
Absolutely. I'm always down.
Thank you so much for coming on Daisy Diaries. I will have all of his links and socials down below.
Y'all know who the fuck I am. I'm the Puerto Rican princess.
I love her.
I love Jocelyn.
Oh my God. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys next Thursday. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.